Robin's contact list, a love triangle, and a mysterious family hunts Raven. All that and more coming up right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, who picked this?
This was the song that was in the beginning of the episode this week.
That's really, you want Johnny on the spot.
Kids in America.
Man, welcome everybody to the DC Titans episode 2, Hawk and Dove. I'm Evan Mack. This biracial angel next to me is Tehran.
That's me, Tehran. That's actually my moniker.
Comedian, the comedic Drake, if so to speak, and the aficionado of DC, Miss Chauncey
K Robinson. Hey y'all.
What up? How you guys doing? How was your week?
It was excellent. The lead up to the DC Titans was really wonderful, simply because I apologize to the DC Titans people. I owe you an apology.
We have to get to that. I want to get your apology like on tape, recorded, like in the microphone.
I need to apologize. Last week
speak your mind.
I said that the episode wasn't gory enough. Whoa, was that the understatement for this episode?
They heard you, man.
They heard me. They listened to the show.
They're
They're like, you know what? It should go through his eye. No, his eye.
And also things going in the nether regions.
Girl. Girl, we gonna chop it all up. Okay. So episode 2, Hawk and Dove. I guess some people that are not familiar or were introduced to Hawk and Dove, originally were in the comics, they were like the two brothers. You know what I mean? Hank and Don Hall, but this is like the new rendition that kind of was formed in the 80s with a female.
Don Granger. The original Don dies.
Yes, the original, like Don Hall, he dies. Next thing you know, Don Granger comes up female, and this is the rendition.
She dies too. What is going on in this episode?
This is the new rendition of Hawk and Dove. Exactly. Did she die? So first, before we chop it up about them, you guys tell me what you thought about the episode.
I thought, I felt like it was quiet. Mm-hmm. There was like a lot of reflective moments, a lot of flashback going on. I felt that was like my main word. It's like quiet, like just quiet.
Interesting.
Except for those fight scenes.
I felt that it was extremely loud. It was yelling. It was saying, watch me. You don't know what's going to happen this season. It set the tone. And I realized something we spoke on regarding last week is that the episodes are shot so dark. Mm-hmm. And I realized this week because they're meant to be watched in the dark. Mm. And that gives and leads credence to the overall tone. And I got that because this week we had the bit of the jolt when Raven's inner soul, demon soul pounces and you get that shock factor. Mm-hmm. A lot of those things lead to the ambiance of where you watch the show. And this episode to me was very loud. It was obviously a lot more violent.
Right.
But I also see the storyline being pushed, and it's not your typical CW show. And I respect that so much more going into this week. The characters, still not the biggest Robin fan. Mm-hmm. Still not the biggest Robin fan.
It's not growing on you yet.
His character especially is playing in a way which he makes you possibly not like him. As the person who's supposed to be a protagonist, you should like him the most. Right, but I enjoy the direction of the show overall, and I have to apologize to the DC Titans producers and writers when I said, I don't think it's violent enough. And they were like, hold my beer.
Y'all know it's pretty good. I thought it was very interesting, just the development, how they kind of started with Hawk and Dove, and when they open with that sequence and you see these different characters. And shout out to your boy, it's Minka Kelly. I don't know if you guys seen her before, and my boy Alan Richmond. If you guys don't remember, he was Aquaman on Smallville. Actually,
I did not remember that.
Yeah,
okay.
he was.
Good call.
It was really cool to see him in a DC, like a different DC character, because way back when he was in Smallville, he played Aquaman. He was like kind of like pining for Lois. And it was really cool to see him back, just back in the DC universe. So I thought that was kind of cool. But so we kind of opened up on them fighting and showing like what crime fighting actually does to the body and how it's taking its toll. And you kind of get introduced to them. So give me your thoughts on those guys, the actors portraying the characters, and how they were presented to you guys.
Well, I felt that Hawk and Dove were excellent choices casting-wise. I really enjoyed the character of Hawk, even though Hawk throughout 15 F-bombs throughout. At some point, there were no reason.
It was angsty,
Sometimes
boy.
he would just look at the show and be like, "Fuck!" It was just like,
Do you feel they were kind of like out of place sometimes?
I feel like they were utilizing it in order to set the tone that this is not Teen Titans.
Right.
This is not a children's show. This is not even PG-13 per se. This is PG-16. This is the millennial show. This is the DC Titans show that you've been waiting for, even if you didn't know that. This is more of a movie than a TV show. And they were trying to set that tone. And with this episode, they were definitely closer than the first episode. And usually pilots are a little rocky. The pilot was trying too hard. This episode, they were a little more comfortable off the bat, which is really nice to see.
You feel like they picked a story or something they were trying to tell. A lot of stuff happened, you know what I mean, in this episode. So then you kind of get to, you know, Raven and Robin, they're kind of like, he's taking them to Hawk and Dove. This is why they set the show up with Hawk and Dove.
Sure.
Okay, so you know you want to present them and show that they have a kind of a connection. They do the flashback with those three, and they're really good at what they do. So it's like when you see how do you feel about the dynamic between Robin and Raven? Are you starting to feel like it's like a father-daughter thing, or do you feel like it's kind of rocky at this point? You know, they're in the hotel and doing their thing. Like, what's your like take on that so far?
I just with the Robin and I actually wanted to kind of go back
Oh,
to
no,
the
go,
other
go,
thing
please.
because
Please do. Go
I
back.
actually had the opposite. I actually like
go
the
back.
pilot episode better than
than
I
this?
like this one. I thought, yes, they seemed very, you know, like this is a series now. We're building things. That's fine. I did feel, and maybe it actually probably connects to the Robin Ray. I felt like her like attachment to him was very quick in this. I mean, episode. It seemed like she was already kind of like, "Don't leave me," kind of a thing with him already. And I was just like, "Well, y'all just drove to Washington. I mean, what happened?"
But do you think that's part of that's because of her connection to him in the dreams that she's been having for like every night?
She's known him, and that's the concept of an empath or someone who has that connection. You can feel that you know someone very quickly, and also we know Klinger stage 5, so we know that maybe she's just that person in a relationship.
Maybe,
when you
but
combine,
she's also 14, right? So I mean, it's one of those things where it's just I felt it was already and even he was a little hesitant because she was like, "You're not gonna leave me." He's like, I guess not.
But she's also able to feel and sense and has extra sensory perception.
I felt like it didn't land as well for me. Like, I mean, I get the reasoning, I get the logic of the empath and her having this connection to him because she's been having these dreams. But maybe it was more so I was putting myself more in Robin's position where it was kind of like that kind of hesitancy, like, why are you so, because it's not two-way for him necessarily just yet, even though towards the end of the episode, it was a little bit more like he felt like, I'm sorry, I hurt you, because we got more into that, his whole commitment issues and stuff of that nature. But I don't know, I just felt like this, and maybe also because I do like the aspect of seeing all the Titans in one episode, it was like, yes, we focused on, and we had to bring in 2 new characters, and we needed to get to know them, but I don't know, I just like the pacing a little bit more of the first one
episode
than this next one but I also understood that there's aspects they have to focus on, and that's what we got with this.
With the story arc looming, that's what changed my mind, actually. The exact same things that you did not like as much. It actually changed my mind because now I see they are not just going to throw Titans into situations. They're not just going to create another CW show. This is one where the story arc is bigger than the group itself. The story arc is bigger than the title, and I really appreciated it. What I saw is a contradiction in relationships. So and I'm sure we're going to discuss the different relationships that went on. Of course, we had Raven and Robin. That was one. Then we had Hawk and Dove. That's another one. Then we had Dove and Robin, which was another one. And then we had the repetition, a storyline that came through when we had Detective Gordon and Bruce Wayne, which is a storyline we're all familiar with, where Bruce Wayne is then comforted by a young officer, Gordon, and is comforted in the midst of the death of his parents. Then we have a mental understanding of the Dark Knight detective, Batman, the detective, known as the detective, comforting and taking in a Dick Grayson. And now we have the modern day where Dick Grayson's now the detective.
Interesting.
How history repeats itself and is taking in Raven. So because of that, their connection is understandable. Here you have an empath who has dreams, who's had knowledge, who has a ESP sense of who a person is and can feel connected extremely quickly. And we have another situation in the cosmic karma of person who lost their parent comforting someone else, right? So the people who have that experience, it's a shared experience. And so because of that, right now, Dick Grayson is all Raven has. Dick Grayson has proved to be the savior. Dick Grayson has proved to be the person who believes her.
That's
Dick
true.
Grayson has proved to be the person who has comforted her and taken care of her and is bringing her, and is the person in her hopelessness, is the only person giving her hope.
And we see that when she Googles her name and she Googles what's going on and she see how truly alone she really is in the situation that she's in right now. And I think she needs Robin more than ever when she kind of like, checks herself out and sees like, okay, they got me. I'm on blast right now. You know what I mean? So she's in a very interesting position.
Yeah, she was just clingy. I mean, I got all of that y'all were saying, and it's, it made sense. It just didn't. I wasn't very interested
Chauncey,
in that.
who hurt you?
Who hurt you, Chauncey?
Chauncey,
Maybe I'm Robin, guys.
Who tried
Maybe
to move
I'm
in after
Robin.
a week? Who tried to be like,
Somebody was like, yo, I know we've been on a one date, but would you want to get married?
hold your hand on the first date. You're like,
Girl,
whoa.
she's like, she having flashbacks, yo. But no,
Maybe.
so then we go and we see Robin and he gets in his contact list and they did a really cool shot to show who was in his contact list, and there's a couple cool names that popped up. Like one was like Donna Troy that was who's Wonder Girl.
Wonder Girl,
So
yeah.
So either that's just a clever Easter egg or she might be in the show. I know she's
she's
a part
been
of it.
cast.
Then there you go. so that's really a cool setup. And then you see Alfred was in there and who he contacts actually, and then you see it was really cool, like sprinkled out. I don't know if you guys knew this, like other names were like kind of like visual effects people and like writers and like so cool, like behind the scenes people were in this contact list as well. So he makes the call to Alfred. He asks Alfred for a favor. Do you think it was kind of cool? Did you like this? Do you like this moment where he's still in touch with someone that's connected to Batman? Do you think it's kind of cool that they're sprinkling out like a character such as that, or was it kind of was like nothing to you guys?
I mean, I thought it was cool. I mean, there were some cool callbacks to, like, the fact that I heard Alfred's voice. Yeah, we heard Alfred's voice, which
Yeah.
is sounds the same in every universe,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That kind of old English
That
type.
droll
But,
British accent.
or whatever. So that was cool. Also, Dove had a Superman shirt on. I don't know how that works.
I love that, but I love that though. I'm so glad you said that because
I was
that's.
like, is what?
But I love that. That's
He's got
I love
merchandise?
those subtleties about shows though. She's like, she's like rocking a shirt like she got like Target or something. You know what I mean? Because it's still Superman. You know what I mean? So I thought that was cool too. But yeah,
I liked the callbacks, and I like it being within this world that we're so familiar with. And last episode in the pilot, I saw a lot of people saying, well, if you want to separate from Batman, why do you keep bringing up Batman? And the concept is the tone is distancing itself from Batman,
Right.
but it's not separating itself from Batman.
because it's still Batman. Listen,
Well,
Batman
he's
is shaped.
necessary.
Yeah, Batman is shaped
Batman
and
is
molded.
the catalyst to
Absolutely.
a lot of these things. And
Absolutely.
the dark tone of this show is not Superman-esque, it's Batman-esque. This is clearly a spin-off of a Batman concept.
Right.
So there is no distancing yourself from the originals of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. We know them so well. Bringing it into that world, who doesn't like Alfred?
Seriously.
Alfred is Jeffrey. Okay, and who doesn't like Jeffrey? Like, if you're a
Fresh
bad
Prince, right?
person, if you don't like Jeffrey, you're a bad person if you don't like Benson. You're a bad person if you didn't like Mr. Belvedere.
Like, who don't like the butler,
Yeah,
man?
exactly.
The
And
nice
now
butler.
you're a bad person if you don't like Alfred. Alfred has always been the pillar of stability, and this is why it's interesting, is because Dick Grayson doesn't call Bruce; he calls Alfred for the favor, and that's what the pertinent piece of information is. I don't call Bruce, but I will call Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
And and to make sure that Alfred kind of understands, Alfred's always been the easy one to go to. Alfred's always been almost like the mom in the mom and dad.
Yeah, he's
God,
a nice
yeah.
parent.
Oh,
He's
God,
a good parent. Calls Alfred and goes, it's just a one-time thing. Kind of like a college kid would be like, Mom, I need to borrow some money, but it's just one time. And parents are almost sometimes extremely happy to do that, because it means you still need them. They want to feel needed. And
Absolutely.
Alfred liked feeling needed.
Absolutely. Good stuff though. So then we get a couple like we get a flashback between like the trio of Hawk and Dove and Robin, and you see how they work together, and then all of a sudden you start seeing this kind of dichotomy of what was going on between between the lines a little bit, so to speak. What was your guys your thoughts on them kind of starting something here pretty early as far as like Robin having kind of a connection with Dove, and in before knowing it was a past or it was currently, you didn't know if it was like during the time they were like Hawk and her were together. What was your thoughts on that whole dynamic they were trying to set up?
I thought it was fine. It was one of those things where I was a little confused because it seemed they did a flashback to 4 years ago. So I guess they were a little bit more of the rebel kids or whatever, and then he'd go off and fight with them. And I guess I was trying to because Hawk said they had been together for 3.5 years. So does that mean? So that's why I was trying to figure out timelines, because I was like, was she with Robin before, right before
that's what
she got together? And it seems like Hawk,
4 years and then 3.5 years.
So it seems like maybe Hawk has some residual sort of. Well, Hawk seems to have a lot of animosity with Robin, and I don't think it's necessarily a love triangle in the sense of, because I didn't get the vibe from Robin's end that he was like in love with Dove.
I don't know.
I didn't get that vibe. I thought it was like, I care about you and everything of that nature, but he definitely wasn't trying to come between that relationship.
Oh no, not now. But I'm saying before there was.
I think he had a thing for. I think they were attracted to each other, but I don't think,
because it's almost like she might have settled for Hawk though. It's almost like she because she was with Robin first, and because she went with Hawk because Robin was like meh. You know what I mean? I can't be with somebody. He did the Bruce Wayne thing to her. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be in a relationship right now. So then she fell in this thing with Hawk. That's what they were trying to like present to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think he's got a little beef with him because he still feels like there's something there. Like Hawk feels like there's something between Dove and Robin, whether there is or not. So I think he's always going to have that kind of chip on his shoulder about Robin, no matter how well they work together. I think there's always going to be something there, some unspoken tension.
American Gollum said Hawk sucks at his job. They caught him twice in terms of just.
Listen, man, your boy got back problems and like concussions and like broken stuff and hip problems. Like, what you want him to do?
He got real messed up.
He got real messed. Come on, he does his thing. He's just over. He's trying to like prove himself still. You know what I mean?
I think for me also, I just wasn't feeling like, I don't know. I just, once again, it was like that quietness. But then I like romance plots sometimes, and then other times I'm like, is this necessary for this episode? Like, I got it that we needed it to kind of figure out why Robin has, the commitment issues
and reluctant to go over there.
Yes, yeah. So maybe that exemplified that, his whole thing of being with her and then needing to go even though they were all friends and together. But I also was like, I don't know if I really care for that, like just giving him googly eyes this whole episode every time she looked at him, being like, and it was just like, okay, I guess, fine. Let's not draw this out.
Thoughts, Tehran? Thoughts, sir?
Chauncey, who hurt you? Listen,
no one hurt me. Maybe I hurt
that should have been the teaser at the beginning of the episode. I should have teased who hurt Chauncey. DC Titans starts now.
Here's the thing. The relationship between, first, let's examine Hawk and Dove are clearly, they're a little more loose than Batman is, and how Batman would like. Right. Batman's he's very strict. He's very rule oriented.
Protocol.
He likes to be the one who dictates how things run. And so we see Dick Grayson as Robin join Hawk and Dove, knowing that this is something Batman would not like or approve of, and doing so because he's being a rebel. He's showing his beginning seed of distancing himself from Batman. This is the beginning, and that's where that relationship comes to play. And it's very interesting to see his fighting back then was very still Batman.
Right.
And it changes obviously to the fight towards the end of this episode in which Dove becomes very aware of the change in Robin in that manner. But going back to the beginning, it was youthfulness. It still had passion. They still wanted to be out there. They found it fun in a lot of ways. This wasn't something they were doing purely to help the world. They enjoyed what they were doing, and you could tell. Robin goes out on his own to do this. Dove and Robin clearly had a physical attraction. They were together in that capacity sexually. There was some type of lust, some type of desire between the two. Yeah. Clearly, Dove's emotional state was more than Robin would allow. And we see that Robin's not able to connect to Raven on a level, is having a hard time, wants to, but cannot. And that can be an offshoot of also being raised around Bruce Wayne. And that's his standard of love. Bruce is notorious for cutting the women he loves off from his life or keeping them at distance.
Absolutely.
Then you see one with Dove, and Robin has to choose between the life or their life, and chooses his life. So I don't necessarily think that Dove settles for Hawk. I think Hawk is the person who I love you, and then I'm in love with you. And as much as she shows so much love and care and affection for Hawk, we see something else for Robin. We see the same thing, for example, in Hunger Games, where she has two suitors that she cares for. Exactly. She truly cares for both of them. You couldn't tell me that there's not something. However, when one changes, there becomes a change in two. I think it was absolutely necessary to have shown the Dove-Robin dynamic, because it gives Hawk, now that we see that Dove is, at least if nothing else, extremely injured, it gives Hawk a reason to join the quest to find and indemnify Raven. It also shows why and who Robin is as a person, but it also, and this is the most important, they're setting up a Titans in which it's a real world. These are real world heroes. We've seen before in the CW shows, the heroes, Arrow is the closest one, but the other shows, the heroes are above reproach.
Yeah,
they're just good people, and
I know what you're saying.
Supergirl's good, and you know, kind of like Voldemort is always bad. Whatever. Whenever you see a villain, not these. These are flawed. These are a throwback to the Dark Knight Batman, not the cartoony Batman.
Flawed heroes.
Flawed heroes.
I love that. It to me brings you closer to who they are, and like when you humanize them like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty cool thing. So now we have that Robin takes Raven to them now. Now at this point, did you guys think that he was gonna drop her off there? Do y'all think that this was gonna be like a thing? You thought he was gonna be like, okay, y'all, all right, peace. Does that think that was gonna happen at all, or when did y'all figure out that he was like planning to be like, yeah, I got things to do, you know, just take this money and I'm out? When did you guys kind of realize what his plan was?
That wasn't top of mind for me. And watching it, I figured he was trying to figure something out. I didn't know exactly where he was going with this, you know, and then it was a whole thing about calling Alfred and getting money and stuff like that. And that's when, I mean, honestly, when Dove said it out loud, I was like, oh, that was what he was.
Yeah, I know. That's when I was like, oh,
and
damn.
Maybe it took her to kind of in knowing him to see what he was about to try, because she was like, how are you taking on a kid? You know what I mean? So she kind of already peeped that he was probably thinking about, she was surprised that he was trying to give her to them, though. It was like us, like, of all people. So, I mean, it just shows his small circle of friends that he thought that would be a good choice.
Well, they do have a really big place.
They do.
The place was nice. Plus,
in DC, you don't understand. That rent must have been $18,000 a month.
Y'all see that spot? That spot was off the chain, little rooftop with the doves and everything. But at the same time, he trusts them, though.
Yeah,
they were trying to show you, despite all that tension between him and Hawk, he still trusts them enough for Raven, because he does. I think Robin does still feels like some kind of connection towards Raven, to the point where he does care about her well-being.
He trusts Dove.
Yeah.
He trusts Dove and knows Hawk will do the right thing, even though he's kind of a brute and aggressive.
He is, though.
He trusts Dove, and Dove is clearly a nurturer. Yeah. Dove is a carer. Dove is, in that way, very stereotypical of the feminine role that plays on television. So she is the consummate. And even then, we also see another stereotypical way of writing, where it's the woman who's choosing between two men. And that's something that plays a part all the time, in a way that there is a love triangle, whether it's for emotion or not. We see this play out every time we look. Titanic, Notebook. There's always these two men, and there's a woman who must choose what's best for her or what's best for her heart.
That's why I always liked Archie.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
To go between Betty and Veronica. Flipped it on its head. I mean, I do agree with that. I would say not even like the choosing part. It was more so like, look at Dove having to do this emotional heavy lifting for both of these men in a way. Although I actually, and once in this episode, I actually liked Hawk more than I liked Robin as well, because he was a little bit more straightforward. Like, he told you what he was thinking, and Robin was doing this. Yes.
Out of nowhere.
He was doing this. He was doing a lot of calculating, you know, and I mean, that's typical. It's kind of shady, of course. But of course, he also couldn't lie to Rachel, because she was like, I can sense when you're lying. Like, so
he was able to lie to her the one time in the car, though. And that's why she was like, you must be really good at lying, because she didn't pick up on when he was like, I am not going to leave you at all. You know? And then like she kind of was like, oh, wow, he's actually able to. He actually was.
I mean, he got us.
He got one. Yeah, no, he had me, bro.
I didn't know he was going to
I was like,
leave
why
her.
didn't just drop her off? Like,
No, drop her off, though. No, I think we need to understand he's going to drop her off. Like, you know, that was some like absentee father. Like,
are you good? Are you good here?
Yeah.
Okay,
Baby, I'm gonna go get. I'm gonna go to the store and get some cigarettes. I'll be right back.
Is that still at the store?
So before I get totally off sidetrack, we were kind of introduced to probably the villains of the season, I believe. They're I don't want to reveal who they are because the show didn't tell you who they are yet, but they're in they were kind of premiered in 1985 comic The Outsiders #1, and
you should just tell people.
I don't want to tell them who they are.
They're gonna watch. That's the whole point of watching this show.
But it's like, but not because it's an after show. It's episode 2. If I tell them who they are before they reveal, man, listen. Okay. It's called The Nuclear Family.
The Nuclear Family.
And they're really they kind of remix them a little bit. There's a dog and there's like smaller children in there, but they kind of just made them very kind of like a basic family. But they're awesome so far. You know what I mean?
I mean, they're just like a group of serial killers who go around. It was very.
I love the way they premiered them.
Outsiders. It was very interesting how it worked out. The Nuclear Family. I mean,
what do you think about the villains they have chosen for the show?
They are so ubiquitously white that they were scary. And when I watched them,
I know I was scared.
They were like, and the mom
scared me to death.
Oh, look who's here! It was that face. If you remember that scary movie with Liv Tyler, it was just so they were just so calm at every turn that you could tell something was about to happen. And when you see people who are like that, it's like, oh, some shit's about to happen. And that was them. And
they're good at their job too, apparently.
They were very good. They hunted down everyone. They clearly, it looks like they killed Detective Amy Rohrbach, who we just got a glimpse of.
She looks extra dead.
She looked extra dead. So because, there was the debate of, is Dove dead? Well, she looked dead.
I don't think she's dead.
So okay, tell me your thoughts on the family, the premiere of the family, the villains they've chosen for this show, because DC has a million of them and they chose these.
Well, I think they may be an aspect of it. I did read that there was going to be a big bad, but that it's not what people think. That's what I read. So I think they're definitely going to be around. I thought they were interesting, but I do wonder like how deep you can. I mean, it's kind of obvious, kind of what they are and their whole psyche. So I would kind of want if we were going to do a big bad for the whole season, maybe someone a little bit more.
They might be bleeding at something like that.
Yeah, something like that. They were fine though. They caught me off guard. I mean, I knew something was off with the kids. The
Monopoly game.
Yeah, who plays Monopoly with 2 people?
I was just like,
serial killers.
Yeah, that game already goes on forever. Two people?
Sociopaths.
2 people?
Good Lord, that's like an 8 days straight game right there. Monopoly is long-winded. So you were saying something. You were saying something else about. You were saying something right before I ridiculously cut you off. But as far as the family goes, and them actually succeeding in their task and taking Raven, like what are your thought processes on what's going to happen? Who do you think made that call to them? Do you have any like early
whoever this Illuminati family that we're looking for clearly made this call? As villains, they are great now villains. They are great now because they're so one-dimensional. It cannot play out for an entire story arc.
No way.
However, this show has shown a propensity to be able to get rid of people that are not needed to further the story arc. So I'm not afraid of what's going on. As I was saying in the beginning of the show, the second episode has given me a lot of faith in the show.
Moving forward.
You compelled me to be impressed. You understand story arcs, you understand byline, you push things forward. You're not afraid of keeping people around, which is why Dove may or may not be alive in the next episode. You're not afraid of changing things up. And we saw Robin, honestly, a Robin who straight lied to a 14-year-old
Straight up, yo.
to her face on something that you wouldn't think that you would ride. A Robin would lie to. The Robin we've known would never have done this. But this isn't the Robin we know. This is the real Robin. This isn't the hawk and dove we thought we knew. The seemingly very liberal or progressive brother, or even when it became a relationship duo where one's sexuality was in question or not. It's not the hawk and dove we know. This is, and even though their costumes, I was not impressed with their costumes, by the way. Their costumes did seem a little
Watchmen-y?
cartoony. I've always been on that the tone is very Watchmen-y. Their fight scenes are very Watchmen. The way the characters set up, even the way they're very realistic is very Watchmen. Even this relationship setup is one we've seen in Watchmen almost, right?
Do you like the fight? Put it like this, is that a bad thing? Or you think
I loved the movie Watchmen. It's one of my favorite, personally,
did too,
favorite
actually,
movies and movie adaptations. So I really enjoyed it. Even when it came out and no one was on it because they were coming off Batman and it wasn't Batman. So I enjoyed it.
So do you enjoy like that, seeing that portrayed in a different show, or do you think you should have just stick with Watchmen, or do you like that they're trying to kind of taking the artistic style away from it a little bit?
I think it makes sense for this show.
Okay.
For the tone of this show.
What about you, Chauncey?
I actually, when Dove came on, I did make a note. I said the feathers look fake, sort of. I mean, of course they're fake feathers, but I didn't care for her cape. I was just like, what is this? What are these colors?
They look impractical too. We're using. Those just seem like they're heavy and bulky
right?
and in the way.
And I'm just like, what is? And she's flipping. I was like,
And Hot's costume. Hot's costume also seemed like,
Yeah, it wasn't. I wasn't impressed. I mean, I like Robin's costume. Yeah. And I think maybe because it's the coloring and stuff, because that just seems more real world like to me. And theirs just seemed like, why that brightness? What is, it just seemed, I wasn't feeling it. I was actually going to say Sky Patterson in the chat when you were asking about the nuclear family. They actually said, I believe the nuclear family is a connection to the Court of Owls, who are a secret society of Gotham City's high society.
Shout out to Sky, man.
the elite.
I think, that's...
Sky's thinking big.
I've been applying to the House of Owls for many years. Nothing. I have a cousin I'm ready to sacrifice everything. But no, nothing.
Nothing.
I've been applying. No one likes me. But I do think that all of you AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there is no network that works harder to serve television fans. I promise you that. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing, actually subscribing, not just watching, we appreciate it, but please subscribe to our channel. YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. You just turn them right off. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments below. We love hearing from you.
We do.
And we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Thank you very much for that.
Actually, shout out to The Flash earlier. Someone who was named The Flash in our chat.
That's
who
what
I was like, The Flash?
Barry Allen? What's up, Barry?
He said that they said that they actually subscribed to our show and so many other shows and this show. And so thank you for that, The Flash.
And if you're listening on the podcast, please rate us 5 stars. Even if you don't feel that we're 5 stars,
Just rate us 5 stars.
Just rate us 5 stars. Help a brother.
Be benevolent. Be benevolent.
So before I kick it over to you, Chauncey, so is Hawk, I'm assuming is Dove dead? Is she dead?
I don't think she's dead. Unless there's a funeral, unless there's the body afterwards.
I gotta see the body.
She was still breathing. She was sputtering blood, of course, and it's like, well, how do you survive that? You fell from a thing, but then there was also, some crow,
Raven.
Yes, who was there and stuff. So, doesn't she have like healing abilities or something?
Supposed to.
I didn't see any superpowers within Hawk and
That's
Dove.
what I was getting
And
to. Like they
we saw the nuclear family. They took an injection.
Yeah.
And that injection is obviously some type of steroid power and booster immunity thing.
Yeah.
And we saw that they had at least superhuman strength besides their superhuman resolve to kill people.
Seriously.
Because the mom was able to throw Dove very easily and effortlessly so high and off the building. Dove landed, now I'm not a doctor, but I've played one on TV.
Yeah.
And when I played one, I realized that concussions of that magnitude, when your head hits the pavement
Bruh.
from that height. Now, I will say this. They were in Washington, D.C. And you may not know this, but buildings in Washington, D.C. are not allowed to be taller than 555.5 feet.
You just dropped a bomb on this whole chat.
And the
everybody.
reason why that is because the Washington Monument must be the tallest building in the entire nation's capital.
And if you do check over, you can see that above everything.
You can always
You
see
really
that
can.
above anything. So this building cannot be that substantially high. That being said, she was thrown off the roof of a building. So they didn't seem like they were in a 3-story building. This Robin came down at least 4 stories from what I could tell, stair-wise, which means that at least 4 floors. Is she still alive? Possibly. Had she landed on her legs, broken her legs, it's painful, but still possible. And we've seen that these heroes do get hurt. Hawk obviously has pain. He has back problems. He has injuries. The same way we saw in The Dark Knight Rises when Batman is unable to do certain things and has to get back into the swing of things. This was going to be their last job and they were going to get out. Apparently, they're also taking money. So we see another real world aspect where they need money to keep this going. Sure, they take down the bad guys, but they also are robbing the bad guys.
Yeah.
And I think that Dove, it would not surprise me if she was dead. I would prefer if she was alive. I started really liking her in this episode. She's very easy on the eyes, very smart, just a good character to have in contrast to everyone else we've almost seen.
Right.
She also seemed to be the only one that had a real connection with Rachel. So
Truly.
I would love to have her on the show, but if she was dead, given the tone and standard of the way they're portraying it, it would not surprise me.
Hey, so you think she's dead?
I don't think she's dead.
So she dead. Listen. So, anyways, let me
She's not dead.
Let me kick it over to the lovely Chauncey for the news and gossip.
News and gossip.
Portion.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, Geoff Johns teases that we might see an LGBT hero for next season. Because as we know, the season 2 was greenlit already. And so executive producer Geoff Johns has teased that the possibility that the show's sophomore outing will feature a gay hero. TV line asks Johns if the LGBT character would appear on the show. And he said, of course, he responded. There's one Titan that already is gay that we've talked about bringing on probably next season. Hence, from that led to people thinking it would be Miguel Jose Barragan.
The bunker.
Also known as Bunker. The character first appeared in Scott Lobdell and Brett Booth's 2011 comic Teen Titans #1. The character is able to create constructs much in the same way as Green Lantern. So we might be seeing him next season.
Wow.
Anna Diop teases more background on Starfire and Blackfire possibly showing up.
Interesting.
In a recent TV Line interview with the cast, our very own Starfire was asked, are we going to get a story arc about Starfire's Tarmarianan heritage? Did I butcher that, y'all?
I think you did a great job.
Thank you. Maybe even a Blackfire appearance. Wow. To the former, Diop freely avowed, yes, we are going to get into that. And in part of flashbacks, but also we might be seeing Starfire's sister. And she said, you will have to wait and see.
Which we may have already seen. We may have seen Blackfire not knowing, assuming that it was Starfire.
I don't think so.
A lot of people
I like
feel
that. I like
too.
that theory.
A lot of people have been teasing or hinting possibly when I started a conversation in our thread in the comments. I was like, maybe it's Blackfire, and a lot of people jumped on that conversation and was like, yeah, we thought it was Blackfire.
I think that would cause too much controversy because of the fact of everyone, those who defended her casting being a black woman and stuff. I feel like some people might feel that was a cop out to not make her the true Starfire.
No. She would just be both.
I know.
She would just play both.
Emma
Frost, who plays on The Gifted, is all 3 of the Frost sisters.
Okay,
so we saw
twin.
Blackfire and thinking it's Starfire, but with her callousness, and now she's going to go head to head with Starfire, who's going to also be played by Anna Diop, and they're going to go head to head.
I think she's Starfire though. I think I know what you're talking. The Starfire we've seen, I think that is Starfire actually. Also, will Dick Grayson become Nightwing? You know, there's been hints at it. And DC Titans writer Akiva Goldsman answered, that's the long game. With season 2 also being greenlit. Our whole first season is an origin episode, the birth of the team. Added Geoff Johns. Obviously, Dick Grayson's evolution from Robin and Nightwing is a big part of his character, and at some point he will evolve into that. For those who don't know, that character has appeared in various incarnations, with the Nightwing identity most prominently being adopted by Dick Grayson when he moved on from his role as Batman's partner of Robin. So we may be seeing that. And then lastly, for everyone who had talked about Starfire's outfit, there has been Titans, Starfire, and Raven get their classic costumes in the new behind-the-scenes footage that came out this past week. And the latest episode of DC Daily featured a behind-the-scenes reel. And in that reel, there's two instances where you see Starfire's classic suit. It's kind of far off, but you see it. And then also Raven's whole hood thing that she has on. So people who have been asking for it, your prayers may be answered.
Interesting.
Well, thank you, Miss Chauncey.
Welcome.
Tehran, we got a special segment that you kind of created.
We
man.
do. We have a special segment, and I'd love for everyone down below in the comments below to join us. Remember, this show isn't just for us. It's for all of us.
Absolutely.
We're all on this show together. The special segment I'd like to propose is that each of us take a single scene from this episode in episode 2, and it characterizes who you are as a person. Not overall, not all the time. However, just a lot of times. For example, if you've ever seen the meme of Kermit just sipping the iced tea, I've always felt that that's me. That's the inner spirit animal of me. Well, let's take a scene from this episode and designate it as our scene. Chauncey, I would love for you to go first. It's the scene where Dick Grayson lies and drops her off.
Apparently, man.
Just drops the 20 G's like, here you go, hoes.
Making it rain.
I actually was going to say that, but like the car scene, you know, it was like, she's like, you know, you're not going to leave me. And he's like, yo, we just not just met, but it was like, no, he kind of felt pressure to do that.
Oh,
and
he
I
felt
felt,
yeah.
I felt that tension.
You felt that, of course.
I was like, that I sensed that. I felt like Drake, like I felt that.
That's it. You felt that. Chauncey, who hurt you?
Nobody hurt me.
That is the
Maybe
listen.
I'm the herder.
Oh, you see, that's a
That's
twist.
even
That's a twist,
scarier.
right? That's a Christopher Nolan twist right there.
That's not a
Tehran.
twist. It's not hurt people, my friend.
There you go.
She was a little monkey wrench in the whole thing. This whole time, she was the herder. Tehran. You didn't see that coming, did you?
I know.
What is your scene?
My scene is when Robin comes and saves the day after being right, and Hawk and Dove were like, oh, looks like Robin was wrong. And you could tell Hawk has been waiting to do that since he's very jealous of the relationship between Dove and Robin. And then he gets shot. And if it wasn't for Robin, it looks like definite doom. He might not have had genitalia after this. Robin comes, saves the day, and then he goes, you're welcome. And that's a Tehran thing to do. Like, you're welcome.
Oh, I love that he said that.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
it's great.
He really didn't have to because it was
And then
already like
sips
implied.
iced tea.
He was like implied and he still said it.
He said it.
I love that. But mine just very basically is the part when Robin was hitting up Alfred for money, because I do that to my father like at least once a month. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, yo,
It's
Dad,
a one-time thing.
one time. Listen, I just felt Robin. I'm like, yo, it's a one-time thing, Daddy. I need you to hook me up real quick. I'm trying to go to Comic-Con this year. Can you send me a couple bucks PayPal? He's like, I got you. So I felt like my dad is the Alfred, and I was Robin in that scene. That's my scene for this week. I'm gonna come. I like this game we're playing.
I would just like to remind everyone, Alfred's not the one with the money.
Right?
He had access
That
to
$20,000. That $20,000 didn't come from Alfred's personal bank
But
account.
I just like that he has access to Master Wayne's.
Even though whatever Alfred salary is, it's clearly he's getting underpaid. Underpaid.
But you know it's all in the bank though. You know
Yeah.
he's never spent a dime because he lives in this mansion.
He's just everything. He's richer than Bruce right now.
Stacking chips, man. He's stacking chips. So before we get up,
I was going to say in the chat, some people played along with our special
Yes.
segment. Nas said, the nuclear family is my emotions, and that detective is a well-being, is my well-being, is
It's
my
his
well-being,
well-being, yes.
yes. And then I think Someone said, I probably lost it. My bad, guys.
You good?
Yeah, that was one about the nuclear family. And American Gollum said, "There's no pineapple on pizza. Raven is not having it, and so am I."
That's real talk right there. He was like, obviously.
That's the scene and we also remember something very cool is how Raven was watching Game of Thrones. That once again, it's a throw to everything's is happening in the world. So it's like in the real world. It's in the world we live in. It's parallel. It's a parallel world. It's not the super hero world. Right. And I like this a lot.
So before we get out of here, thanks for everybody in the chat. Thank you for reading the chat, Chauncey. I appreciate it. Everybody, please keep on being interactive. We love when y'all chat with us. Really quickly, DJ, if you can kick that predictions button real quick, because we can just give really quick predictions. Yeah.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
I was into
What you got, Chauncey?
My prediction is that we will get Starfire next episode because I really missed her.
Yeah, me too.
And I want to see her finally interact with Robin and Raven. So.
Well, my prediction is we never find out who hurt Chauncey. And
I just want to know now. I want to know. Can we build that up
will
to
never
the end
find
of the
out.
season?
I also predict that we get Starfire back and we have to see Beast Boy.
Yes.
Beast Boy has to come back. There has to be a reason he was teased. I couldn't imagine them going another episode without him entering. And clearly they're on the search for a Raven, who I do think we will also get back. So here we have a meeting of all the minds. The biggest prediction is if you're saying Dove is dead or not. I'm saying Dove is dead. You're saying she's not. Nope. We'll find out. I hope she's not dead. She's not dead, but I could see her being dead.
Yeah, I'm with you with the Beast Boy thing, and I also want to see the status of Dove and to make sure she's all right, and just kind of keep that going. Want to see a little bit of Beast Boy, want to see his personality, want to see his interactions with everybody, want to see the team perhaps get together. So nothing too crazy for me, but I do want to see the status of Dove.
And I think we see a little more about Raven's upbringing because they touched on it this episode.
Right.
And she starts talking about when she was alone and something when the first appearance of her inner demon came and how she acted. I think we actually go there or see there. It has to play.
Cool. All right, appreciate y'all, man. Thanks
Thanks
for hanging out with me for a little bit.
Yes.
So yeah, guys, we will see you all next week. I'm Evan T. Mack. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Evan T. Mack. My lovely co-host, please put yourself over.
I'm the no.
Both of y'all are lovely.
We're both lovely.
Yeah,
We're both lovely.
Put yourself over, y'all.
You can find me at Miss Chauncey K on Twitter and also on my YouTube channel, self-titled, but also called The Twisted Girl Next Door TV.
And I'm, of course, Tehran all across the board. I am Tehran, IAMTEHRAN. Find me on AfterBuzz on a bunch of the DC and Marvel shows, as well as at the Laugh Factory every Monday and Thursday at 10 p.m.
Dope.
Come out, show support, and have some fun.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.